used to be a helper and an assister, but he expects that each chassid will undertake to do all the avodah bi'atzmai with his guidance and assistance. That's written clearly in that Sicha that the Rabbi said way back then when he took over the whole Messias in Toshin that's not a particular assistance, but there are certain Polish schools, I know in Polish schools, they never close off the light. The lights burn the whole night, even if there's nobody there, because maybe somebody might come in and learn how Jewish word in the basement the whole night.
That sounds good.
They don't know. I know exactly. I can tell you. I don't want to name any. The Basi Medrash, many of them, that the light does not go on, and even by day the light is on. In many cases, but by night the light is on deliberately the whole night. Here we see immediately after Mara, or some crazy was.
The neighbor. We want us. We want to come to the Tzemach Tzedek all night and learn here. Come on. This is the Rabbi Shul here, Gafni. We want to learn here at night.
I threw a bit of a bomb, but I think I have a point. Anyway, there's so we come to our generation, and we come to this period in our generation, and the Neshama Klolias and the guider of our whole generation, the Rebbe Melech Mashiach, he led us that our whole avodah should be lahovi the Yemei Mashiach, to bring the Indian of Mashiach b'poel mami. And so this Sicha is where the Rebbe appeals to that old cloud in Lubavitch that everybody should see the Indian as his personal Indian, and he shouldn't wait anymore for what you might call doing it himself on the part of the Rebbe. In other words, it's the Rebbe's big Indian. Let him look after it, and we'll just, do the best we can. What's the problem? Is there something it's attracting a lot of attention? Over Mela, therefore, in that regard, the whole thing that we're going to learn tonight is a final expression of the whole interrelationship of Lubavitch to the whole Chassid Rebbe relationship. It's just that it comes in a very pointed expression because of the urgency of what the Rebbe saw to be the pressing imminence and the bamela, the urgency of the Inyan of B'Yas HaMashiach. So the Rebbe began the Sikha the following way: B'yomdeinu b'yom zakai. Since we're standing at this moment on a very, very, how do you call it, augureous day, a very special Torah day, beklal ubefrat, both generally and in a specific way, as we will see. Benegir le'inyan haki yikri, and this speciality has a relevance to the most important and key inyan of the Gula Mitzvah Shalema, how it relates to the ultimate and final Geula Alidei Mashiach. And that's the inyan, a key decree. That's the most important and principle of all issues. And therefore, we're standing on a day which has a very special relationship to that inyan. Mitzad kama v'kama inyonim. And the Rebbe said that is due to all sorts of different factors. And he now lists them, and then he will deal with them according to the Seder that he listed them. And that is, first of all, the connection with the Gula Shlema is mitzad the Klolas Hashona, the whole generality of the year in which this Sicha was said, which was Toshin Nun Aleph. He said the general whole of that year has a strong relevance to the Gula Shlema. And then he said the Klolas HaChodesh, the generality of the month in which it was said, which is Nissan. The generality of that month has a relevance to the Gula Shlema. And then he said the Klolas HaShavua, the general summing up of the whole week in which it was said, the end of the week where we are now, which is the week of the final, what you might call the final week in Chodesh Nissan. And then he says, V'gama yom ha'proti b'chodesh. He said also the particularly specific day of the month, Dahainu Koach. We'll see about that in more detail. V'hayom ha'proti b'shavua. And he said also the particular day of the week. In other words, Erev Shabbos, or Thursday night going into Erev Shabbos. Koilal v'mirad mitzad inyonis shel hayom b'shavua b'sfiras ha'omer, and also in reference to the day of the week and the particular day, there's going to be a special connection with what is the Sfiras ha'omer of those days. And that will also add to the significance and the relevance and connection of this whole moment with the Gula Shlema. Particularly that we have the Gemara in Masechta Menachos in the Sugya where it talks about Sfiras ha'omer. It tells us that the mitzvah of Sfiras ha'omer has two, as it were, chief wings to it. In other words, that it's koil in itself two mitzvahs. One is a mitzvah lemimnei yomei, or mitzvah lemimnei shavui. There's a mitzvah to count the days, and there's also a mitzvah to count the weeks. And where do we see that? That we see in Pasha Emoyo, which we're going to be reading soon. It's written, Usfatim lochem mimochas HaShabbos chamishim yom. You have to count the days. But in Pasha Re'eh, in Sefer Dvarim, it's written that you have to count Sheva Shavuos. You must count 7 full weeks. Mehechel Chermish at the moment that they start the harvesting. So we see that one pasuk mentions the whole spirit in a number of days, and another pasuk mentions in a number of weeks. So when they used to count Doraisa, there was like 2 inyonim in Doraisa, 2 mitzvahs min HaTorah. Now the whole spirit is only midrabanan. That's how we paskin. But nonetheless, the 2 inyonim remain. There's a inyan to count in the spirit of the days, and once you reach a week, then you count so many weeks and so on also. So therefore, the Rebbe said the day of the Omer and the week of the Omer, where it occurs, both of them have special reference to where we're holding right now. Yesh la'oyer ulahashkir ulahadgish oedapam. I said there is to, it's necessary to arouse and to remind ulahadgish. Everybody's getting up and walking around, sort of disturbing. You guys, can you please sit down? Let's get moving. So he said there is to arouse and to remind and to emphasize Oedapam even more. Al Diragima Ushlemas Maseinu Vavidaseinu Yeah, that we have to realize that we're holding right at the completion and the perfection of what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that what it's going to bring the Gula Shlema is Maaseinu, Avodaseinu, B'Mesech HaKolos, L'Havua Sagula Midas B'Shlema. And that Avodah, the Alter Rebbe makes it clear in Perek Lamed Zion, that we need to do our Avodah in the Golas in order to perfect the situation for the coming of the Geula. So the Rebbe's point is that it's already reaching its completion. But since that's the case, we need to know exactly where we're holding and what sort of relevance does that have. So he said, let's begin. Haskoras, Maidlas Hazman, Yom Zakai, B'Shaygas La Geula, this particular very special and relevant day in reference to the Geula, L'Chol L'Rosh, Mitzad Klal Tzashon, first and foremost, from the point of view of the general aspect of the year. Are you done over the place where we're up to? Are you okay now? In reference to the Klal Tzashon, the generality of the year. Duba Kamapi Omem B'Mesher Shona, it's been dealt with and spoken about, but the Rebbe means that he dealt with it and he spoke about it quite a lot during this particular year. Al Derech HaRosh HaTevas, the acronym of the Shona, Kefi Shanikva V'Nika B'Fi B'nei Israel, according to how it's been fixed and called in the mouths of the Jewish people. And that is Ho Yesehei Shnas Niflois Areno. Now this is based on a pasuk in Micha Novi, not far from the end of the whole Nevuah of Micha Novi, where he says that Ki mei tzeischo mi Eretz Mitzrayim Areno Niflois, that just like the days that you had when you went out of Mitzrayim, you were shown all sorts of wonders. Just like that, I'm going to show you now also, and this is a long time after Mitzrayim, so the implication is on the Gula Asida, the Gula Shlema, Arenu Niflois. I'm going to show you, Arenu from Russian, Laharot. I'm going to show you Niflois. Now, if we think about it, and this is important for the key argument that the Rebbe is going to make, that the word niflois is a stronger expression than the word nisim. Nisim is baklal, a divine intervention with the state of the nature, the state of teva. But a niflois indicates an even higher level in nisim itself. However, we have to say that the word niflois indicates a very high level in divinity. And if it's a high level in divinity, so it might be beyond the ability of normal people to observe it. Like the Alter points out in Tanya in chapter 26, that there are certain great levels of divinity, even to an individual, that they're so great that he can't really observe them. It's of the fleshly eye, because they come from such a high level. Therefore, he thinks they're suffering, or he thinks that maybe there's something negative. Because that's the union, that there's a very high level in it, of course, so it's not always possible for the person to observe it. So here we see that the Navi says that we're going to see niflaot. What that means, that notwithstanding the fact that it might be a very high level in it, of course, normally beyond the normal observation of a person, nonetheless, Hashem is going to bring it down and make it observable to the ordinary person. Now, if we look carefully in that pasuk over there in the Novi, it just happens to be of interest. And right at the end of the Sicha, the Rabbi mentions it in a footnote, but it's very key to our whole thing. And that is that Micha Novi, right towards the end of his Nebuah, he literally says a prayer to Hashem. And he says, isn't it enough that the Jewish people have been suffering in Golas? That was there. He said, why don't you do something to take revenge against all the people who've caused so much harm? And doubtless you will do that. And why don't you bring them back to the land that belongs to them and plant them again in their land? That's better than what he said. The Navi turns to Hashem and he said, why isn't this happening? So the Abish answers him. And the Abish says, he made say schor, that's Hashem talking. That's the basis of that passage. So that's like an answer to the Navi's prayer that Hashem is promising that he's going to do it. So the Rebbe says, no. So the Rebbe says, we're already holding at this moment where we can expect rightfully and demand that this be Makuya. You follow? And it could be that we have to really put in a bit of a strong effort just to bring that about. But that's not a tremendous demand for such huge orders. You understand? So therefore, the Rebbe is going to say, ultimately speaking, what is he really demanding? He's just demanding that everybody cock himself and do everything he can to assist, Is Bamela, that's going to be the thing. So therefore, the Rebbe says, Areno niflois, therefore, Toshinon Aleph makes Shnas niflois Areno. In other words, not Areno niflois, no niflois Areno. That's the other way around. So he said, Nun Rosh Hashanah niflois, Lifnei ha'Aleph, that's before the Aleph, which is Rosh Hashanah Areno. Now, the Rebbe said, that's not the order of the verse. That's the other way around. So the Rebbe said, we have no brainer, because the halacha is that when you write a shtar or other documents according to halacha, you got to write the date. And the way you write a date is that, first of all, the general, the number of hundreds of years, then the tens, and then the single numbers. So that means that Nun has to come before the Aleph. Or in the Pasuk, the Aleph comes before the Nun. So he says, we have to write the Niflois, Arenu, because that's the way you write in a star, and that's Opi Aloha. However, he said, that's Niflois, Arenu. However, he said in the Pasuk, Niflois, where are we? Oi, he said, however, the other possibility is the way it is in the Pasuk, and that is, we could say that the year of the Rosh Hashanah of Tehei Shnas Arenu Nir Flois. But that's the way it's written in the Pasuk. And that's not the way we write it, but that can be suggested. And the Rebbe said the Aleph of the Rosh Hashanah of Arenu, Lifnei Anun, the Rosh Hashanah of Niflois. Kaloshon HaPasuk, Kaloshon HaKosov, Ki Meitzeischo Me'eretz Mitzrayim Arenu Niflois. So the Rebbe said, Ushneihem Gam Yachad. Both of them are good. Whether you put the Nun before the Aleph or you put the Aleph before the Nun, the Rebbe said, both of them are good. Ushneihem Gam Yachad. We don't have any time about either one. Both of them are good. However, the Rebbe Kedah B'Kodesh is going to show us what is the possible difference between the two. If I say Arenus Nifloi, Arenu Nifloi, like the Novi said it, or if I say Nifloi, Arenu. So he says Nifloi, Lakisha Atzmon, Yechelim Liyois, Nifloi could possibly occur in the lifetime of a mensch. Yeah, Gambo even Chainam Nirim Begalui, Niflois is something that since they come from a very high level, it could be that they might happen, but nonetheless they're not in a clear oven of revelation. Yeah, Kamaim Razal with the famous Gemara. Yeah, Sheyeshnam Nisim Shafilo Bal Hanes. Yeah, Valachas Kama Vakama Achedim. Ein Amaki Benisoy. It's a Gemara Masecta Nida, in the last Masecta of Shab. That the Gemara says that very often the Evish that does a nes, or the Baal Hanes, the person that receives the nes from Hashem, doesn't realize that it's a nes. He doesn't pick it. He doesn't see that it's a nes. He thinks it's some sort of unusual turn of nature, but he doesn't recognize that really it's a nes. So therefore we see that there can be certain things that occur that are really very high levels of revelation, of eloquence, but it's not noticed by the humans that are benefiting from it. So therefore the Rebbe said, well, Derech Zeh Benegel and Niflois, how much more so that this would be the case by Niflois Shalamayla Nisim. Like we said, Niflois are an even higher level than Nisim. But Adarabba, you're talking Shalo Yiru and Niflois Mitzad Goidel Malosam. Yalamayla Nisim. How would I, what sort of basis would I have for saying such a thing? Yeah, Kamashakosov, it's written in Tehillim, Lasois Niflois Gedoilois Levadoi. Rashi writes over there, what does it mean the Eivishter makes great Niflois on his own? So Rashi writes that means that only the Eivishter knows how much it's Niflois. Only he sees how much it's Niflois. Which means that it could be that the benefiters, they don't see it, but Hashem knows. Yeah? So the chiddush of this posse and this year is that it's going to be shown. It's going to come down and be nikah to everybody. Amen. So he says, yeah, Niflois gedolos lochin hu levada yodea shehu nes avol bal hanes einu makeh benesei. Over the people who benefit, they don't really know. So therefore says the Hoishofa, the Arenu, and the adding to that the whole possibility that it should come into seeing. Shaniflois nirim begalui baria choshes la'ene baso. Well, that means that people are going to see with the physical eyes all these wondrous niflois. Yeah, areno keep shutui. That means I'm going to show you in the simple terms. Yeah, so he said, how does that work? So he said, Kivan Shakari Bohu Mareha Niflois Arenu, since Hashem shows us the Niflois, Kalima Re'ios Aniflois, Ulo Biglal She'enam Niflois Gedailas Chasvashon. It could be there very, very great Niflois, and normally only Hashem would know better. But by here, Hashem is going to make a very special effort to make sure that they come down and be noticeable by everybody. In other words, that's going to be a special, the whole arenu on the part of the Avis, a special effort on the part of Hashem. So therefore he says, Ela biglau aishtadlus avaisaskas ta kodesh baruch hu, through the effort and the busyness of a Kodesh Baruch Hu in his own very essence. Yes, it's also within his capacity to show that even the Niflois Gedoilois, or the Shulabadi, Yodeh, Shuhunes, they should be visible in the physical eye. Yeah. That's a tremendous senior, and that's the chiddush of Arenu Niflois, or Niflois Arenu. So the Rebbe says, let's make a deal. Now, what's the difference if you say, like the Posik says, Arenu Niflois, or if you say Niflois Arenu, like we have to write it because of the starters. So he said, V'yesh la'ha'hiziv al-pi adil, v'loshen ha'kosu, Arenu. Yeah, now it's interesting, the word Arenu is that it could like third person. It's like, I will show him, Arenu. So it's from Russian to show, but it's not Arecho or Arechem. I will show you, or you in plural, but I will show him. So what is the able to change that? What is in the word arenu, the Novi? What does he write at arenu? So the Rebbe is going to say because arenu is a, how do you call it, a what's called in Hebrew grammar, or that's called lashon nista. When I say him or we, I'm not necessarily pointing at the person, but I'm talking the third person. When I talk in the second person, I say you, yeah. Or if I talk in the first person, I say myself. But when I say he, I'm not talking directly at anybody. And that's like, so the Rebbe learns the pshat that shows another diuk inside the greatness of these niflois. That they're not only that what a Kodesh Baruch Hu knows, but they're also a third person. They can only come down in a way that normally you wouldn't see them in reference to yourself. Oh, but what Hashem is doing here, he's taking something which is not really of any possibility that you would see it yourself, and he's going to make sure that you do see it. Yeah. And so that's what he says. Arenu niflois, b'loshen nistar, b'loshen noichach arecho. I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show him. Yeah, shemoyra al dag and neidlich yosef elikus. Yeah, that's indicatory of an even higher level in divinity. Shuhu nistar, that it's hidden by definition. It can't normally come into being, into a giloi. But human sharias and iflois, whom it's a dag and neidlich yosef elikus, arenu daiga, boim gam niflois gedoiloi. Well, that means that it's bemet niflois gedoiloi, shuhu levadei hu yodea, that like Hashem knows how much this is really a tremendous mess, or they come beria chushes le'ene basa. Hashem's going to bring them down into physical, sensual seeing on the eyes of the fleshly seer. Of Amira, you can see how the Rabbi builds the amazing point. That is, that the Rebbe makes the amazing point that the type of Jew that's going to be if they go to Shema is a level in Elikus completely and utterly beyond Olam. And it's only Hashem knows how great it is. But nonetheless, he's going to bring that down and through a special ishtadlus on the part of Hashem. He's going to make that real to each and every person in the fleshly eye. That's an amazing thing. So the Rebbe said, and in that itself, two sdorim, two orders or two ways. Yeah, Haseda mitzad machias o ilom, the way it is, the way the world does things. Well, that's ksiva shtarim. That's niflois areno. First of all, niflois, and then afterwards, the writing of a star. How they call it a IOU or another form of a document. That requires you to write niflois non alava. That's niflois areno. So that's one way, but that's mitzad the world. Mitzad machias or elam. If we take the existing part of the world, and we go milmata l'mayla, we go from underneath above, then harizeh niflois shelamayla migiloi. Or that's beyond any possibility that they should come into revelation. V'izgalusam hu alidei pula miyuchedes. Or that's through a very special effort on the part of Hashem. Yeah, the arenu that Hashem shows us, that even though mitzad the way we have the ability to see, we could never see that. Yeah, but Hashem will make a special effort that we see it. So that's niflois areno. First of all, it's niflois beyond us altogether, but Hashem is going to make his effort to see that we see it. Or there's another way, and that's he starts off with the areno first. Right? That's what's written in the Novi. He said, first of all, areno niflois. Right from the very beginning, Hashem has made the Gilui. Right from the very Mokeh. which means that it's coming all the way down Begilui. Not that we first of all have to work to see that it's beyond us, and Hashem will make a chesed that we do see it, but right from the beginning, He makes it visible, right from the shore, which means an even higher level in the re'il. So therefore He says, "Shemalachatchila yeshnei hagilui arenu teniflois shelamayla migidrei ha'olam." That's already beyond the whole definitional limits of the world altogether. Each one has got its own advantage. After the second way, that's a much higher level in divinity because it's being shown right from the beginning to the Seder Histalsel, to the world. But the Gilui is Bika from Hashem. He said, "V'loi mitzad gidrei atachton," and that's not mitzad any effort on the part of the lower world. Ubeniflois arenu harei mitzad gidrei atachton. The tachton says these are arenu, these are niflois, but I won't be able to see them, and Hashem will cause him to see them. Well, that's a bit lower. Avoloi mizgalis dargis elakusha lamayla legamrei mehoilam. So therefore, the Rabbi, the Shleimus are mediator, the genuine perfection, as when you join both of them together. Now, this is very, very common in all Sikh. I don't know if you've noticed over the months that the Rabbi is very interested that the highest levels in divinity should become part of the way the world is mitzad atzmo, not that the way the world's going to change and be something different, but the way the world is, it should be able to receive the highest thing. And therefore, if I unite these two pirushim, the areno neflois or neflois areno, then that means that the highest level of areno neflois, or that will join up with neflois areno. That will join up with the way the Nivra took it, and then you will have the Gilead, the highest level, inside the way the world functions in the ordinary sense. So that's absolutely mind-blowing. And you remember, we've had that on several occasions, that the Rebbe said that's the ultimate perfection of the Gula Shlema. The perfection of the Gula Shlema is more ha'oretz deya, that the world, the way it is, oretz, the way that it is, a physical world, or that shown to be full with the knowledge of Elakus, the way Elakus is. Not the way the world understands it, but the way he really is. Yeah. And they join together. That's the Gula Shlema. That's the Klolas Hashon. So the Rebbe said, "L'kola roshu be'ikar." He said the most principal and how he call it, the most important and principal issue is Galas Hanifloi Shoidosam Maduva, because we wanted it to all be Gilui now. That's the important thing. The Rebbe said it's wonderful to say what's going to be, but we want it to be. We have to have it that it should happen. So he said it should be as Galas of the Nifloi. Shoidosam Maduva Bakosu, that in reference to them. Yeah, it's being spoken about in the Pasuk, Yemei Tzeischem Eretz Mitzrayim Areno Niflois. What that means is, Galas Niflois, the Gula Amit is Bashlema, Alidei Mashiach Tzidkenu. When it's this union of the two possibilities and the two levels, when is that going to be? When Mashiach will come, B'Poel Mami. Oh? So the Rebbe said that's in reference to the year. So now he said, "B'shona zu atzma noisav oidioisa mitzad klolas hachoide." Not only just the generality of the year, but also the generality of the month in which we find ourselves. V'hayom b'choides, and then also the week klolas hashavua, v'hayom b'shavua. We're not going to deal with that. So he says, "Chodesh Nissan." Let's take the month. So he said, "Chodesh Nissan." Is Chodesh Shogeulah. It's written in the Medrash, and it's brought down a lesson from the Gemara in the Medrash with a simplicity, and what that would appear, that's the way in the Gemara it's a difference of opinion. But it would appear that the Medrash Paskin, the simplicity, according to one opinion in the Gemara, and that is that the Nissan Asidin Lehigoy, that Nissan was the month when Yidden went out of Mitzrayim at the beginning, at the Palm Rishoyna, and Nissan is the month that they're going to be redeemed in the final Giyur. Yeah, but Nissan Lasidim Lehigoy. So therefore, Nissan is called the Chodesh Hager Geula. And before there's another Medrash, what the Medrash says, that when the Eberster took Yankiv Bono out of Egypt, he fixed them a month, which was like the beginning of all the months, and he called it Chodesh Geula, and that's Nissan. Yeah? We see then that our Siddur referred to Nissan as in different ways, Chodesh Geula. Nissan is a very special man. So therefore he said, you may chase from, that fits in nicely with our party, you may chase from Eretz Mitzrayim, or Boitia Agula Sida, Aren employees, and that's when it's going to be the Agula Sida, Kamaim Razal, Benisin Negalu, or Benisin Asidim Lehigoyel. They're going to be revealed in this. Now that's a statement of the Medrash, even though in the Gemara it's a difference of opinion between Rabbi Yoshua and Rabbi Eliezer. Because Rabbi Eliezer says that it's going to be in Tishrei. The Gula Shlema is going to be in Tishrei. And Rabbi Yoshua holds it's going to be in Nissan. And the Medrash says, without any hesitation, that's going to be in Nissan. Mashma, that the Medrash Paskins, that it's going to be in Nissan. And Mamela says, the Rabbi, Ubechodesh Nissan Atzmei, Alayla Shebe'emtza, Umechaber, and he said in Chodesh Nissan itself, we're holding by the night, which joins together Yom Kov Zayin Nissan, Yom Kov Ches Nissan. Yeah, we're holding on the night. We're going out of Kov Zayin, and we're moving into Kov Ches. So the Rebbe said, let's see what that joining can teach us. So he said, Kov Zayin Nissan. Is Oisias Zach. Kov Zayin makes, if you take it the other way around, it makes a word, and the word Zach means pure. Yeah, and he said that's how Derek it's written in Parshat Tetzaveh, in the Chumash, it's written Shem and Zai is Zach. And he called pure, very, very high, pure olive oil. The word Zach means something very, very delicate and pure. So he said, the infant Zach, Meloshim Bahiras, that indicates, how to call it, purity and clarity, Bahira. Yeah, he said, Moira Umadgi Shagilui, or that Bahiras, it indicates this whole concept of what we're calling Gilui, Arenu of Nissan, Arenu Niflois of Nissan in the Geola. So he said, and we can add to that, the Mila of Mishpah 27 is 3 times 9, right? 3 times 9. So what is 3 times 9? 3 times 3 times 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 3 times 3 times is 27. So 3 times itself is what we call chazaka. You guys have heard of the concept of Gimel, Omim, Havi, Chazaka. What Chazaka means, like once a thing happens 3 times and there's no disturbance to it or no complaint, then we can just assume that that's the situation. And it's a fixed thing, and that's the way it will remain. All right? That's called Chazaka. And that's got reference to different halachas in the Gemara and Baba Sia and Chayza, Bab Basra, and Odmakim. Oh, the Rebbe said, Kumtais, the 27 is 3 times 3, 3 times. In other words, that 9 is 3 times 3, and 27 is 3 times 9. So it comes out that he got triple chazaka. Yeah? In other words, that in chazaka itself, he got a further chazaka. Chazaka, Sheva Chazaka.
חזק, חזק ונתחזק.
Double, kafur.
חזק, חזק ונתחזק.
Yeah, Chazak, Mitzchazak. Oh, Mela, the Rebbe said, I can't read. Turning darkness, into light, turning darkness.
No.
3 times 10 is 30, yeah.
10 to the 3.
Yeah, we're not far away from 30. The Rebbe's going to mention it, don't worry. Rebbe Mela says, what does that mean? That means that we've got 3 times Chazaka. So he says, who believe shall shilush, misholesh. It's a 3 times in a 3. Chazaka, tzlas zimnei habe chazaka. 3 times is anyway a accepted, assumable permanency. Gimel piyomim, Gimel is Gimel piyomim. 27 is 3 times, 3 times, 3 times. So he said, Al derech hamaduva kamapom b'negel l'klolos hashona shemudgish ba'inyan hagiula shemetchilos v'reishisa b'gimel yomim rotzuvim. The Rebbe said on that year, Topshin Nun Aleph, Rosh Hashanah came out Thursday, Friday, and then immediately Shabbos Tshuva. So you had Thursday, Friday, Shabbos. And then Sukkot was also Thursday, Friday, Shabbos. And Simchas Torah was Shmini, how do you call it, Rosh Hashanah, Shmini Atzeret, Simchas Torah. So the Rebbe said, the whole year began with 3 times 3 times 3. It began with 3 times Chazaka. So the whole year began that way. So the Rebbe said it means that we've got a whole year where 3 is being freed, several times. So he said that's in the Kov Zion, that's the 27th. שהתחילות וראשיסה בגימו יומים רצופים של קדושה שחויזים ונשנם בחוץ לארץ גימו פעמים בראש השנה ובסוכות ובשמיני עצרת ובשמחת תורה. So he says, v'kofches Nissan oishes Koach. And so now we move from that triple Chazaka into Koach. And he said, what is Koach? Koach is Koach. So he said, what's that got to do with us? So he says, Oishes Koach, Moira Umadgi Shachoizak. Or that gives a power and a toikef of Nissan, which is anyway Gula, Koilo, Bamir, Bapashtas, Nasina Sakoya, Lahavua Sagula, Bapel Mami. Ever since we said we need, it's been a big delay, so we want a Bapel Mamis. So the Rebbe says we have to have a special Koya. And Yesh Loma, that's what the Koach of Nissan comes to indicate, that we do have the Koach to make it a Koach. And like we point out, that this is the 28th year since the Rebbe set the sea. Vaishovi Seder. So the Rebbe said there's an extra addition to all this. Mitzad Inyonei shall klolos hashavua. Vayom b'shavua. So the klolos hashavua is from Pasha Shmini. We have a Shnasa Ivor. So we're holding by Kedoshim. But then they were holding by Shmini, after Pesach. So the Rebbe said, Pasha Shmini, kosher yaminyan agiula. It's well known that 8 is higher than 7. And 7 is like the cycle of the world, and 8 is a level beyond it. And so that indicates, the Rebbe pointed out in Pasha Shmini once, that indicates the Geula. That's the Oyer Maki, which indicates the Geula. So Shmini, in the way, hints at and indicates the Geula. Says it over sure the Pasha Shmini Atzmoi, Ashavua Hashlishi. Then, the way the whole Seder occurred, that they read 3 weeks in a row, Pasha Shmini, in the Kriyas HaTorah, before they actually read it in Shabbos, the whole Pasha. Yeah, the Pasha Shmini, Chazoka. That's a Chazoka, Be'inyan Shmini. What Shmini is in the Yula. He said, and furthermore, we have to remember that the Rebbe mentions it in the Dvamalis of Pasha Shmini, that there's a Kabbalah, B'yedei Oilom, that if you read Shmini 8 times in a year, then that's a similar to the Gula, because Shmini indicates the Gula. So he said this particular year, they read Shmini 7 times, and then they're going to read it in the Beit Knesset, be the 8th time. Yeah, that's a further indication of the Gula. You follow? So you got all these different factors, they're all shaping up into this night that he calls Koach Nissan. Yeah. So he says, Vayom b'shavua erev Shabbat. He said, and this is Friday. With that we're the same. We're also Koach Chesed leading into Friday. So he said, erev Shabbat, Shaboy Kodim Pasha Shmini Kula, of a Kriyashon Azu Kodim Vayi Bayom Hashmini, Bapam Hashmini. They read it for the 8th time. So he said, Shmini Shabbat Shmini, that's the 8th times Pasha Shmini, and that's Geula Shabbat Geula, Tachlis Hashlemet Geula. That's like a doubling up of the Geula. It's Shmini Shabbat Shmini. So the Rebbe said it's a further doubling up of the whole year of the Geula. ויש לו אישי במיילס היום, מצד הקשר והשייקס ליומים הבאים. So the Rebbe said, let's examine how this has got a connection with the days to come. He said, since something gives something koach, it makes you a koach, not only to have koach where you are, but to make a connection with the days that are coming also. So he says, יש לו אישי מצד הקשר מהיומים הבאים. Mikov Ches Nissan Boy Mikov Tet. Well, that's Shabbat. And that is Erev Rosh Chodesh. Yeah. So he said that's Erev Rosh Chodesh. Yeah. Shenikra Yom Kippur Koton. It's a very unusual thing. It's not the minhag in Lubavitch to keep Yom Kippur Koton. But here the Rebbe makes a whole thing about it, Yom Kippur Koton. That's brought down, it's not mentioned in the Gemara or in our Seder, Yom Kippur. That brought down the great Poiskim, the Spanish Poiskim, the pre-Chodos. He was at the time of the Erechim. He was a big Poiskim. He brought down the back of the Beis Yosef of Shulchan Aruch, and he wrote. He was a very big authority and tremendous. And he writes it on Erev Rosh Chodesh. It's like a Yom Kippur Koton. And the Sfadim made a whole seder of tefillahs and special slichas and the tachanans and all sorts of things that they say on Erev Rosh Chodesh. That's called Yom Kippur. That's like what they fast. They fast until after they finish all the slichas and all the. It's a big. Oh yeah. You ever been by the Kosel, Erev Rosh Chodesh in Meron? If you go Erev Rosh Chodesh to Meron, they come in there tens and tens of Yidden, Sfadim, and they make this Yom Kippur. You never seen it? Oh, yeah. And they cook and they shray, it's really a big thing. So the Rebbe says that Kumta is that Erev Rosh Chodesh here is Shabbat. So there's not going to be Yom Kippur Koton because you can't say all these slichas on Shabbat. None there is. The union of Yom Kippur is still there. Yeah. So the Rebbe says, yeah, Kof Kersen is Erev Rosh Chodesh, yeah, Shenikra Yom Kippur Koton. Yeah, me'einu dugmas in Yonah shal Yom Kippur. Yom Chasunose. Oh, that's the day of the marriage of the Jewish people with the Eibishter. Yom Kippurim Shenikra Lui V'Zacharinus. The giving of the second Luchos. Oh, that was Darki on Yom Kippur. Moshe Rabbeinu got the second Luchos before he came down. He brought them down and gave them to the second. So that Yom Kippur is the day of the giving of the second Luchos. Oh, that's the day of the Etzem, how do you call it, Zivug of a Kodesh Baruch with the Jewish people. So that's the Yom Chasanose. Yom Chasanose is a big simcha, yeah, and that's connected, yeah, with the Indian or what's going to be Liosi Lovid at the final marriage, the actual union of Matan Torah, or that was only the beginning. That's what we call Erusin. It wasn't a full marriage. The full marriage is going to be when Mashiach comes. So therefore, the whole inyan of the giving of the second luchas, you cannot do with the inyan for Chasna, and that's going to be ultimately Gula Amitia. And well, that's got a connection with the inyan for the Gula. If that's Shabbos, well, we can't keep Yom Kippur Cotton, but we can keep the inyan that was the day the second luchas were given. And it's got a mile of Yom Kippur, the Pneumius, and a mile of Yom Kippur. He said, "Mameno boim la Rosh Chodesh," and then on Sunday we come to Rosh Chodesh, and he said that's Moiled Halabon. That's when the moon is reborn. So the Rebbe said, "What does that indicate?" The Dugmosai be Yisrael, Shadim and Lalabona, Umayim Lavona. The Yidden are similar to the moon, and they count according to the moon. We count our time according to the lunar month, not the sun month, the solar month, but the lunar month. Yeah, Bagula Sida, or when he done, yeah, Rosh Chodesh who Beis Yomim. Oh, I'm sorry. Shaheim Asidim Lischadish Kamoiza. In the bracha of Birchas Lavona, when we make Kiddush Lavona, we say that Yidden are going to be renewed when Mashiach will come. Just like Lavona is renewed, so the Jewish people are going to be renewed. Oh, Mela, something wrong?
Yeah. What? The bug. What? The bug? Bag.
Oh, nice. I'm sure he was harmless. It's written it should be Mistadl. Mendel just brushed him off. It's written it should be Mistadl not to kill. The Arizal was very makbid, not to kill them unless it's absolutely certain that they're damaging. Otherwise, you shouldn't kill them. He's just. Avamela, Yidden are going to be renewed like the moon. So that's got to do with the Gula Shlema. And it's very interesting. One year when I was by the Rabbi, it was very interesting. It came to Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan after, and I was leaving then. After Tishrei, it was already after Simchas Torah, after Shabbos breakers, and I was leaving to go back. And there was a whole group of people that were leaving to go back to different places. So. You can't walk up to the Rabbi and shake hands and say farewell, It didn't work that way. So what a lot of people used to do when they were leaving, they would collect in Gan Eden Atakna. You know what Gan Eden Atakna is? Like the first door before the Rabbi's office. And they would stand there, And when the Rabbi came out from Mincha at 3 o'clock, he'd have Mincha. When the Rabbi came out from Minna, he would see all these people standing almost in his way. So the Rabbi would realize that they're leaving or something's happening. So the Rabbi would give them a bracha. And that's how he got a bracha from the Rabbi. So I wasn't leaving at that particular moment, but I wanted to see what would happen, So I stood at the side when the Rabbi came out from Minna. And here's this whole group of people, and it's Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan. So you know what the Rebbe said to them? I heard it from the Rebbe. I'm standing there. Yeah, and the Rebbe said, Zol Mekuyim Ve'an, and I Hanuman. It should be Mekuyim and all of you together, Sheheim Asidim Lehish Kamoizor. That you're all going to be renewed like the new moon. And that means Moshiach. That's what the Rebbe says, Sheheim. It should be Mekuyim and all of you. Shahim Asidim Lishchadish Kamoiso. So, all of you. And the Rebbe sort of nodded to everybody and he said, Portugism to hide, have a healthy journey and much good news. And so then the Rebbe went to his own. But his main blessing was that it should all be renewed like the moon. Yeah, it's going to be when Mashiach comes. So all the people, you know, they were, yeah, how to say in Yiddish, they got the Ryan. They wanted to get something, so they got it.
You got it.
And me, the old butler, I just had to leave afterward. So therefore, the Rebbe said there's a mile of a kviyas shanazu, share of Rosh Chodesh, uchal b'yom HaShabbat. So the Rebbe said a very extra mile in this year is that Erev Rosh Chodesh comes out on Shabbat. Yeah. So he said, Kishe Erev Rosh Chodesh, chal b'Shabbat, makdim hemim yoned yom kippur kotten, yeah, liyom hay, yeah, liyomim shalifnei Shabbos, to Thursday. Yeah. Given Yom Shabbos, Ein Omrim Tagna. On the Shabbos, you're not allowed to say, you know, that type of prayer. So therefore, it'll be Yom Shabbos, Erev Rosh Chodesh Mamish, Yesh Norah Haveda Shol Simcha. And Shabbos, only Simcha. Or be Yom Simchaschem, Elu HaShabbosei. That's a Medrash Tanchuma. The days of your Simcha, that's Shabbos. And many days that the preparation for the renewal of the whole Jewish people in the Gula Shlema is a Tavki B'Simcha, yeah, and that's how it's supposed to be. Well, Idayik says the Rebbe, when Rosh Chodesh comes out on Shabbos, then that's Margis, Indian of the Gula, Mitzad Yom HaShabbos Etzal, yeah, Ma'ayin Dugma, like we say, in benching and in other places on Shabbos, Yom Shekula Shabbos, Umenucha L'Chayei Romim. It's a day which is leading to the day which is only Shabbos, but that's referring to the Gula. Umenucha L'Chayei Romim, an everlasting Menucha, and that's the Lashon of the Mishnah at the end of Masechta Tomid. You heard of Masechta Tomid? That's a Masechta in the Mishnah, which deals with all the midas of the Beis Hamikdash and different things that were done in the Beis Hamikdash. At the end of Masechta Tomid, that's written that Shabbos should bring to Yom Shekula Shabbos U'Menucha L'Chayei. That's a good Amid. So it just goes on like that now. I don't think I'm going to have the time and the course to go, but what I want to do is get to the sort of the final point that the Rebbe makes. And the Rebbe refers also to the fact that it's not far away from Beis Iyah. Beis Iyah is the Yom HaLedes of the Rebbe Marash, and the Rebbe Marash is L'Chatchila Riva. But L'Chatchila Riva means that you jump over, you don't try to fly away around, but right from the beginning you go over the top. Yeah. That means that you're on top of everything right from the beginning. So the Rebbe said all of these things all come together to show that it's a fit day for the Gula Vashlema in a very powerful way. So the Rebbe says right at the end, paragraph Vol on page 91. You got it there? Mm-hmm. So the Rebbe said, Al Pi Ha'omali, according to everything we said above, Al Derech Hadgoshes Inyan Hagula Uba Miyuchet Bizman Zeh, in reference to the Gula and especially to this moment where we are now. So the Rebbe said, Misoyereres Tumiyah HaKoi Gedolah. There becomes aroused the most amazing question. Tumiyah means the most amazing, not understandable question. And what is the question? How is it possible that without looking at all these inyonim which we have said, that nonetheless we haven't actually brought about Bias HaMashiach, but we got all the indications, we got all these wonders, these gulas and all this, but how can it possibly be that hasn't actually happened? So the Rebbe said, Dover she'eina moving klal. He said, this is the most ununderstandable question that can be asked. How is it that Mashiach hasn't come? without looking at all the things we said. And then the Rebbe said to me and Noisefer, there's an additional wondrous question, and that is Shemitrim Asora Vakama Vakorma Assyrias Misrael B'Yachad. The Rebbe said there's getting together here 10, and not only 10, but many more 10s of Yidden all together. Yeah, Israel, and all of them are together here in this place where the Rebbe was. Of his man, Zakai Benegel Gula, and it's a very fitting time for the Gula. The Apple Pikain, Ein Marishim, Lifel Bias Hamashiach. He said, I haven't noticed anybody getting up and straying and making a tremendous rush. Why hasn't Mashiach come? And Lifel Bias Hamashiach taking me out. And it's not something completely mufrak means unacceptable to them. That Rahman in Islam, Hashem Shagadas, Shemashiach Lo He said, I can see by all the people here that they're not particularly troubled if Mashiach won't come tonight. So Mashiach didn't come tonight. So the Rebbe said, how can you possibly say that? He said, V'gam mocha lo yover Mashiach, and they're also not particularly troubled. Even tomorrow Mashiach won't come. V'gam mocha tayim, and if you go 2 days after tomorrow, lo yover Mashiach tzidkenu Rahmanin Litlan. Rahmanin Litlan is an expression in the Gemara, meaning God should guard us and Hashem should protect us. So the Rebbe said that somebody should be quite comfortable with the fact that tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, it may not be the Gula Slema. The Rebbe says, Rahman in Islam, to think such a way. Hashem should guard us from thinking such a way. He said, he said, they will tell you that they shout Ad Matai. So the Rebbe said, yeah, but when they shout Ad Matai, they do it because I've given the commandment to do that way. They don't really do it because they really want Moshiach. Because they're told they should do it, that's why they do it. So the Rebbe said, "V'gam shetoigim ad matzai arazim mipnei atzivoy," because I've given a commandment. He said, "Ve'ilu hayu miskavnim mavakshim betoigim be'emet." If they were to shout ad matai, mamish truthfully from their hearts, b'vadai u'b'vadai Mashiach kvar haya ba. Absolutely, for sure, Mashiach would come. Philip, please. Mamish, unbelievable words. So the Rebbe said, Ma'oid. So the Rebbe said, Ma'oid yecholani latzois. What can I do more? Yeah. He said, Kedei shekol b'nai Yisrael yarishu v'yitaku be'emes v'yifalu lahovi ezo Mashiach b'poel. So the Rebbe said, what can I do more? I've done everything. I've done so many things to get people to stray that they want Mashiach now. Yeah, b'poel. He said, Liagri shekol mashanasa adato loy hoyo. Everything that's been done up to now hasn't worked. Yeah, it hasn't brought about Mashiach. Varaya, shanim tzoyim atayim b'golas. Yeah, we're still in the golas. V'oid v'ika b'golas pnimi. We're not only in the golas, but how to call it, begashmias. Although he said we're in our golas pnimi, b'inyon avodas Hashem. In other words, the koach that we don't stray, and we're not working but kol hakoyah to bring Moshiach b'poil. And that means that we're in golas not only physically, but that's a sign that in our way that we're still golas. And that's what the Rabbi spoke about so many times. That there's not only a general golas mentality, but there's a special, what you might call, frumah golas mentality. And that is that even though a person does everything, and he says he's been makar of the gola, but he doesn't really, marish, he doesn't really make a tremendous effort. It's how they call it, it's me'asofa ulachut. Why? Because you're, as it were, accepting to the God. You sort of put up with the gods and you accept that,
Yeah,
and you live with it every day. So you just accept it. And it doesn't really bother you that Mashiach is not coming tonight. Yeah. The Rebbe said, what can he do more? He's done everything he could, and everything he did hasn't helped so far. Yeah, but Haraya, that we're still in the Goddess, but over Yerchidish, Shakolani Latsois. And he said, the only remaining thing I can do is Limsor Inyan Aleichem. I have to put the thing in your hand. Asu Kol Asher B'Yachotechem. Please do everything that you can according to your Yecholah. In other words, I've done everything I could. It's now up to you to do everything what you can. In Yonam Shaim Ba'ivin Do'eres Datoyu, and you should do things which are in a way of, and they have the power and the unlimitedness of Eres to you, over those Eres Datoyu should come down into Kalim Datikon. This is the famous doctrine that we mentioned here. That's put down and come in Mekaymas Basilas, and that's called Aveda. Over here, that I was talking about it, but Poel Mam is going to get to the Geula that you have to bring down. You have to be unlimited. You have to be like the Earths of Toyo, which were tremendously powerful and unlimited. But you got to come down in, like we said, you got to link it up with the world, the way the world is. You got to make the world change into a world of you. I mean, you got to bring it down into the reality of the world. So therefore, the Rebbe says, "Oh, that's an Indian of Eres to you, aval bekelin datikim, lahovi bapoyo, as Mashiach tzidkenu, take you from Yad Mamish." The Rebbe said that means that it's going to happen, but Mamish in the Gidrei Ho'elam, like we said earlier, in this world, of it's going to be, it's going to happen in reality. Vihi rotzen, says the Rebbe. Halavai, how to say Yehi rotzen? Would that it be? Shasov kosov yimotzu asora mi Yisrael sheyisakshu. Yeah, Hashem should hope that there be a minion of Yidden, that they're going to be obstinate. They're going to be what's called misakshim. Misakshim means people insisting on what they want and they're not prepared to accept otherwise. Shahim Muchochim Lifoil Eitel HaKodesh Baruch Hu. Avamera Bevada Yifalu Eitel HaKodesh Baruch Hu. Kama Yishakosu Kiyam Kshei Oiru Hu Us Bisolaktor. And the Rebbe writes in brackets one on the famous title of the Alter Rebbe in Torah Oiron and Oid Mekoimes that the stiff-necked people is an advantage. He's not. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't mean that as a bad thing. But that's the advantage of the Jewish people, that they're very, obstinate. And that obstinate is the reason why you should forgive them. That's the way the Alter of it touches that person. Oh, man, the same thing here. If the Yidden will be very obstinate, then Hashem will have to accept what they're asking. And they'll have to say, okay, we got to do what these guys want. So he said, "V'lochein b'solachta lavineinu ulachatosenu unachaltanu." That's written in the pasuk over there in Pasuk Yisisa, and the chaltanu refers to Eretz Yisrael. And therefore he said, "Lahovi b'poyach esagul amitis v'ashlema." Take me out, mamish. The Yidden will go back to Eretz Yisrael, and they'll be in Eretz Yisrael the way it's meant, according to the Rotzim Elohim, according to Torah Umid. Yeah. That's what we got to insist. And the Rebbe hints in a footnote here, and also it's brought down as a famous mimer from the Alter Rebbe in the Drushim Kitzorim. What it's written over there, the Alter Rebbe said once, that if there would be one tzaddik, and he doesn't say that he has to be a tzaddik gomer, like in Tanya, he just calls him a tzaddik. He said, if there hoya tzaddik echad, shohoya misakesh, im HaKodesh Baruch Hu, v'doresh, v'toveya esagul shlema, a bilti sovik that the Eberster would give him. That's what the Alter Rebbe writes in this famous one. So here he's making it easier. He said, if we had 10 people, I said, maybe that's harder to get 10 such people. But he said, if you had 10 such people, how much more is that? You follow? So here he talks about 1 million. Or in that particular moment, on the Alter Rebbe, it talks about one person, a tzaddik echad. Yeah, put down in the, what do you call it? In the Maimonides Ketorium of the Alter Rebbe. So he says, taking me out, Mamesh, וכדי למהר ולעזר לזוהד יויסר על ידי הפעולה שלי, says the Rebbe, I'm also going to add my פעולה, oisi ve'etein, kol echad ve'echad became shlichas mitzvah. I'm going to give all of you people here $1 for shlichas, mitzvah. Litein letzedakah, וכדי letzedakah שמקרב את הגאולה. The Gemara says in Baba Basra. What's very interesting, the Gemara says that in reference to Bedek Abayas, to giving money for the Beis Hamikdash, and doesn't actually mention tzedakah to Ani. And Tosfos says it's a kol v'chomer. If to give a Bedek Abayas is shkula connected kol mitzvahs, then how much more so to give it tzedakah to somebody who needs it? That's a very interesting Tosfos over there. Yeah. So the Rebbe said, "Vani et sheli asisi." I've done mine. I've done what I could. Yeah. Now I'm adding by giving everybody $1. U'mikan lehaber ta'asu atem kol asher biyacholtichem. Do everything you can. He said, "V'hi rotzen sheyimotze mekem echad, shnayim, shloisha." Maybe there'll be 2 or 3. She taksu eita, that they will work out together an idea, what to do and how to do. Taking miyad mamish, it should be absolutely, immediately, the gula b'poyol mamish, and without any delay, take a miyad, it takes simple to level. And the Rebbe had everybody go past, and he gave everybody $1. That was the siyum, that very amazing, how do you call it, very historical siyum. So I think each and every one of us has to do a little bit of soul searching by himself. Where does he really hold? What's happening with him? So once again, it doesn't mean that you have to go and jump over the Empire State Building or something. What it means is you got to do something that's makar of the Guru Bapoya. And you have to do it, energetically and with action, with asking the Evis. That should be the Guru Bapoya. Everybody. And let's get a bit aroused, see what we can do.
Amen. Amen. Oh.
Digamos por el lado, ¿no?
Gonna do it.
I guess end stream would be doing it. Hit end stream, right? Okay. End stream would do it. End stream.